Welcome. How are you? How are you all doing? I've been thinking for a while. That's why Miguel Serrano TV. When I check social media, which is inevitable and something we'll keep doing until the final and often, but it's not healthy. It's not healthy because we're doing fine. It's actually easy not to become radicalized, but we have the capacity to reason and we should use it. We should make use of it because if we don't, we're going to go crazy. But the thing is, everyone will see whatever on their own timeline, right? Depending on the algorithm, it shows you what you're looking for, your hobbies, what you watch the most, and so on. And yeah, I've spent a lot of time these days watching videos from Argentine content creators, those who have attacked Spain and criticized the Spanish national team from the start. And maybe that's why I get so many of them, right? But I don't know. I don't know if there's been as much of that on the other side. I don't think so. I don't think so. If you see, for example, and I insist, I try not to fall into generalizations. Generalizing is not good. It's not good. But now we're going to look at a series of things here, and I'm going to try to put all the thought I can into it because it's very easy to make absolutely radical videos, right? Well, first monetize being radical makes money, and it's the easiest thing, right? Not putting any thought into things and facing them from just one point of view. Well, that's it. There are people who do it because honestly, they just aren't capable of more. And there are people who do it because they're actually very smart. And they know that this way you get more interactions and so on, right? Radicalism sells. So let's try to be as rational as possible. Posible. Let's start with the news, with the information. This is the latest on what happened last night with that demonstration by the Argentine players, which, mind you, even setting aside the football rules, happened during a football match and was carried out by the players themselves. I understand them. I agree. Okay. Here at the time, we also said with the whole Gibraltar is Spanish thing, absolutely. Gibraltar is Spanish. How could we not say it? The only colony left in Europe. It's unbelievable. Why is it that all these problems always end up being with the English? But anyway, and yesterday, these Argentine footballers, who, mind you, were all the ones behind the banner, but some are smarter and some are less so. Messi took off like a bat out of hell. He stands there briefly, but then leaves to avoid trouble, right? Anyway, someone should have warned them, and maybe a voice of reason from one of the footballers could have told them, guys, you're taking a big risk. But I don't know if it's because they think they're untouchable or because FIFA won't sanction them for this or because they got carried away by the emotion of the moment. They just went ahead. Lo Celso and Cuti Romero, I think they were there too. Wait, let me check. I'm going to zoom in a bit. Lisandro Martinez was there too. Lautaro was there too, even though he's holding on to Lo Chelsea. But anyway, the ones holding up the screen I'm looking at are Lisandro Martinez and Lo Chelsea, right? I mean, Lo Chelsea, who's not a starter and all that. Look, nothing would have happened with Licha like that if they had given him a 1 game suspension. I mean, the next one, I mean, the final, which is probably what should have happened. Because if you look here at the rules, and indeed, no political demonstration can be made on the field of play. And among the possible sanctions are financial fines to the national federations, warnings or formal cautions to the players involved, or match suspensions. In serious cases, do you think this is a serious case? Well, I don't know if it's serious, but it couldn't be more graphic. Soccer players hold a banner reading the Falklands are Argentine, which I understand and agree with. All right? But a serious case, what happened with Rodri and Morata celebrating the Euro Cup when they said that thing about Gibraltar being Spanish was understood as a serious case? Why? Because they were each suspended for 1 match. Lasky and Rodri? No, Rodri got injured shortly after returning, I think, but they still served the suspension. I was just asking if Rodri might have served it during his injury, right? But no, they ended up serving it, both of them. 1 match each. Well, then the same should have been done because it was the next match. The same should have been done with these. It's true that the Spaniards did it during the celebration for the title, and it's true that there was a month or so between that and the next match, right? And now there are only a few days. And that match is the World Cup final. And that team, and I'm adding this myself, is Argentina. So, of course, FIFA has said, no, but we'll hand out the sanctions later. We'll leave it for later. Well, that's what happened today. Man, what do you think? Let me know down there in the comments. Like I said, it's a video that took me a while to process because, damn, it's just addictive. Scrolling is addictive, absolutely, right? But we all fall into that. And I have to confess something to you. I wish I didn't have to pay so much attention to social media, and at some point I'm going to stop, you know? What's up with Twitter? Twitter is basically like a bar. It's not real life. But it's true, well, formerly Twitter, now X, it's true that on many occasions, match clips that if you go to the Marca website, the AS website, or any other news outlet, you do not see there, but you do see them here because everything ends up here. You need to think about where that information comes from, how to process it, and realize it's not AI. This is something new, artificial intelligence. And well, some of that is innate to the ability to tell what's real from what isn't, and some of it comes from training. In journalism, that's what they taught us, right? Another thing is the bad habits you pick up as a journalist. That's something else. But there are a lot of people who believe a lot of things, and that's why sometimes X, depending on how you use it, not the social network itself, but how you use it, can be pretty harmful. But well, things happen, and some things that are true are also reflected. Take a look at this. And now let's continue. This is in Madrid. This really happened in Madrid, and you won't see it in Buenos Aires. That's also true because there are more Argentinians in Madrid, more Argentinians in Spain than Spaniards in Argentina. Okay? That's a social reality that's there. If there were more Spaniards in Argentina, there are some there too. This wouldn't happen. What we just saw in Madrid, Plaza de España, last night, with a group of Argentinians celebrating their team's victory over England. Listen for a moment. I think I don't have the volume on. There we go. Let's go. Come on.
Spain is scared. No luck, no luck, no luck, no luck. Pedro Sanchez is not Spanish. Spain is scared.
The World Cup final kicks off in Madrid. This is Nacho Pla, right? The one from Cope who's here doing his report. It's great that some people go out at night to record these things, otherwise we wouldn't know about them. Well, someone else would be recording it too, right? Well, Spain is afraid. Okay, it's a bit on the edge there, but it's fine. I mean, it doesn't offend anyone. It's a very typical football chant. And I mean, yeah, we're getting into that little rivalry. It's no big deal. This isn't just any random content creator saying something stupid. No, this is a lot of people living in Spain. And look, I have Argentine friends living in Spain who are mostly wonderful. I also know who to hang out with. Some are my neighbors. They're lovely people whom I care about a lot and who respect the country very much. Naturally, there were many of them in central Madrid, and that's what they went there for. It's true that then the joy becomes contagious. I mean, you say things you shouldn't. Yeah, but for a lot of people to chant in unison, damn, it's not just one crazy person saying something, it's several, right? Spain is afraid. Well, okay, we can accept that, right? But then those who go out on the balcony with their Spanish flag to say, hey, long live Spain, I can say it in my own country. No, son of a bitch. Well, okay. No, not that. Sorry, but no. And Spanish, anyone who doesn't jump is Spanish too. I think that's going a bit too far because many of them, surely, I don't know, some might be on vacation, others are just passing through, others are studying, and so on. But many of them, just by being there because their grandfather is Spanish, now we're getting into the topic of the law for grandchildren of Spaniards and other things. They want to be Spanish, and in fact, they already are. This is a real lack of respect. Spain isn't very afraid. It's just a back and forth soccer game. Whoever is there, you attack me, I attack you. Son of a bitch. A guy who goes out on a balcony with the flag of his own country in his own country to say that I also this, who knows what those people would say? I don't know. It's bad. Let's see what the people upstairs say, okay? This is already really messed up, isn't it? This is already a lack of respect. Therefore, you are lucky to be in a civilized country because what most characterizes civilized countries is that you can come from outside, do this in the main square of the capital of that country, the one you arrive at, and that welcomes you. You can do this without risking your physical safety. This doesn't happen in other countries, and I hope it stays that way. The fact that Spain remains so civilized that nothing happens to these people for saying any nonsense. And when I say any nonsense, I mean any nonsense. This isn't a big deal either, right? They could have been worse, right? Well, that's what characterizes us as a civilized country and city. It's like that guy's video. There's a guy, I didn't have it ready here. I can show it to you. Look, I'm going to play it for you. I'll play it for you. I have it here somewhere. Wait a second. There's a guy, an Argentine, who, when he sees that Spain makes it to the semifinals, this was after the match. And I really didn't want to show it because it's just one guy. It's just one guy. If many people say it, fine. But if only one person does, you think, don't generalize. Still, this isn't the first time I've heard something like this. Look, he's taking a walk around Madrid. Spain just made the semifinals. And he says this.
I can't believe Spain's such a bunch of chokers. Me neither, Spain. Look, I want to make it a handkerchief.
He starts by insulting that Spain's such a bunch of chokers.
Spain. Look, I want to make it a handkerchief.
But look, I like the Spaniards.
But we're in Madrid. Half an hour after they qualified for the World Cup semifinals for the second time in history. And I'm right in the middle of the avenue, able to record this whole video without a single horn or shout. Dude, make some noise. Come on, people. I want drunk people here throwing things, breaking something. It's sad. Let's go, Spain.
I want drunk people throwing things, breaking something. Spain, let's go. Let's go. Come on.
Let's go. Vale.
Well, you might say, let's see.
Wait, let me... Pacifier, I'm here with these Galicians?
Well, anyway, we should tell them sometime. We've told them many times that Galicians are from Galicia and we are Spaniards. It's like if we called them Buenos Aires natives, and when the country is much bigger, of course. But anyway, there were designated places, and in fact, there are people back there. If you've heard any car horns and such, there were places set up to celebrate, which is what also happens in civilized countries. I insist, in civilized countries. For reaching the semifinals, that's one thing. It's different if you win the final. But generally, when things are celebrated, containers aren't burned or anything like that. I'm not just talking about Argentina. Our neighbors, the French, also deal with that, right? It's not that the country isn't civilized. The country has become uncivilized for other reasons that we're not going to talk about now. But I imagine you can guess them if you'll pardon the redundancy, right? Naturally, there were authorized places to celebrate. After all, it's the semifinals. It's a big deal. Spain has won the World Cup, 3 European championships in the last 17 or 18 years. Spain has won a lot of things. Are you in a city where Madrid has won countless Champions Leagues? I mean, we know how to celebrate, and in Madrid, especially in Madrid, when it comes to our team, our national team, we're very used to it. So, well, but anyway, like I said, this is just one guy. Many people say the same thing. Several are already gathering in the square for this. It's like if you go to the obelisk, as I keep saying, and the Argentine doesn't react. Maybe the first gives you a dirty look, the second gives you an even dirtier look, and by the third, you might not be around to tell the story. Unfortunately, I have Argentine friends who say that's the problem with our country. Look, I can show you on WhatsApp on my phone. I mean, I'm not going to show my messages. But look, my friend Mario, my friend Mariano, my friend Max, I mean, I have my friend Christian, my friend Daniel. Out of my first 10 conversations, 6 are with Argentinians. I mean, I care about them a lot. I have people I really, really care about there. But, well, this is happening on social media. This is happening on social media. And I don't know, you guys tell me, whatever you think, man, there's just so much going on. There's just so much going on, by the way. Lamine Yamal and Pedro Porro haven't trained 3 days before the final against Argentina. Lamine Yamal is there. I think that's why. Honestly, Lamine Yamal has a big advantage. Lleva un ventaje, eh? Careful. Some people might say, look, it's better if he doesn't play, that he's a burden and all that. Sorry, but he's not at his best right now. He hasn't had a great World Cup. In my opinion, he started off slow and got better, and the last match wasn't bad. But he's the only winger Spain has, because Nico still isn't doing well. Above all, Victor Munoz can play on the right wing, but it's not the same, especially given his playing style and how he cuts inside. With his style drawing a lot of attention from the opposing team, which always destabilizes defenses and is a real pain. Not to mention Pedro Porro, as the Spanish right wing is one of the best. Pedro Porro and Lamine Yamal understand each other perfectly, and their connection keeps improving. It's really bad news now that I was scrolling too, and with all this social media nonsense, I had forgotten about that. That's one of the pieces of news about that. As for the final, yesterday Messi spoke. Now we're hearing from more Argentinians, okay? I'm just going in order based on what I saw yesterday. Messi stood up for himself. He's perfectly within his rights. But we also have to say one thing. Messi, don't take us for fools. We know Messi. We know what you did last summer. Well, no, not last summer. The one from 7 summers ago, okay? Yesterday, Messi said this.
It's crazy. What this group keeps achieving is incredible. It's 5 finals in a row. It's another World Cup final once again in a row. We became world champions. We're the best for 4 years, and now we're in the top 2 again. No matter who it hurts or what people say. This team shows that on the field, nobody gives them anything, and that they compete and go out to win games.
Well, no matter who it hurts or what people say, nobody gives this team anything. He's perfectly within his rights to say it, okay? But then he shouldn't complain if people think that they do get things handed to them against England. Not a single one. By the way, now we'll look at a play that people are saying was a foul by Messi and so on. Just so you see that here we try to be as objective as possible. By the way, let's show it for a moment. Let me put it on for a second before we listen to Messi so we can compare it with what Messi said back then. But there's an image from yesterday. Wait a second. There's an image from yesterday that's unbelievable. They took it away from me. Here it is. Okay. They were saying there was a foul by Messi on Spence during Argentina's goal. Okay. Well, this is it. The thing is, you won't see it. You won't see it big unless I make it big and the computer listens to me here. Okay, look, look. He doesn't step on him, he goes over him. Messi is extremely intelligent when playing soccer. Besides, Spence, later, after what they said was a stomp, then Spence complains. Look, I can't show it too often, even though it's very small. Look. In theory, Messi steps on his right foot. Spence complains about the left because that's the one he leaves in the air while he hops on the right. So this wasn't fake. What Enzo did could have been a yellow card and maybe even close to a red because Enzo Fernandez punched him. Man, in the first minute on Gordon, I think it was Gordon anyway. Yeah, I agree with that, but this possible stomp isn't one, like I said here in this tweet. There was help before. Here it was said there was no help with Messi and Spence, and here it's said and nothing happens. We have to try to be as subjective as possible. I said it at the beginning of the video, and I'll say it again now. What happened back then wasn't objective, or at least, well, he said what he thought. He had the right to speak his mind, just as the Argentinians did at Plaza de España, chanting that whoever doesn't jump is Spanish and that Spain is afraid. But then don't take us for fools when he says that nobody here is being given anything, or when he doesn't want to admit that there are people who might think that way. He once thought that about Brazil, according to the champion.
And I think there's no doubt, unfortunately, I think it's set up for Brazil. Hopefully the VAR and the referees have nothing to do with this final and that Peru can compete because they have the team to do it. But I see it as difficult. I don't think so. We shouldn't be part of this corruption. And they didn't let us into the final.
They kept us out of the final. We shouldn't be involved in this corruption. This is set up for Brazil. That's what Messi said. So now don't be surprised if people think it's just a setup for Argentina. I insist, not because of yesterday's match, but because of the previous ones, to put everything in its proper context, right? I mean, we have to talk about everything. We have to talk about everything. Anyway, I had a few more things here to show you. And it's this one. Wait, because there's one that makes me, and there are, let's see, I've heard some incredible things, but really incredible. I'm going to play them, but I'm going to play them with a disclaimer. I mean, a warning first, okay? Leaving El Chocas aside, the other day, I think he grabbed an Argentina jersey and rubbed it on himself to save himself, saving himself separately. And from here, I absolutely criticize El Chocas. He's just being an idiot there. And I hope that any decent Spaniard comes out and says that someone who does something like that should be criticized, okay? Just like there are Argentinians who say, look, with the guys who were shouting in Plaza de España, they come out and say, hey, really, don't do this in Spain, especially not in the country that has welcomed you. And there will surely be people who criticize this guy. This shameless guy, the one who says, I'm going to play it a bit faster because it lasts 2 minutes. This shameless guy who says this truly outrageous, very unfair and xenophobic thing about Spaniards.
What is he going to do with England? You have to mess with Spaniards. You have to treat Spaniards like idiots because Spaniards are idiots. Damn, we have to create a huge global bullying campaign. It's the mechanism against fools, really. That's how it is. And they hate us. The one of the month of the month, what cliches?
Dude, I mean, seriously, people with a microphone do so much harm, I swear, man. They really do a lot of harm. So much digital crap, let's tone it down with a microphone, man. How much harm does it do? How much harm does it do, dude? How ignorant they are from a historical perspective. Such ignorance. And like I was saying, the whole thing about generalizing. How terrible, man.
Now comes the one thing they can't control. The only variable they can't control. Because they, the Galicians, the Spaniards, know they're dumb. Cucurella, after eating a paella and after drinking an Estrella, gets home and says, I must be dumb. I'm Cucurella. I must be dumb. He doubts it. They doubt it. They get home and say, I'm dumb. I'm dumb. Hey, man, am I dumb? Am I dumb? And they doubt it. And we, as a nationality, are the ones who remind them, hey, you're dumb. And you know it. And I know it. And we know it. You play soccer very well. You play soccer very well. You play soccer great, but I want you to know you're dumb. Damn, man, you blow my mind. I'm freaking out. I love what you're saying, man. And yeah, look how you talk. Look at how you talk. Look at their names. Pedri, Pepi, Poppy, Poro. They're funny. They're idiots. Yeah?
It's amazing. Thanks. I'm going to make another disclaimer about this and give a message I need to give. It's not everyone, but there are a lot of fools with a microphone. There are a lot of fools with a microphone. Some do, but this one isn't funny at all, naturally. Then there are some that are funny. Wait a second. Well, before I show these kids, which is what I'm going to finish with, there's this one, which I find really funny, honestly. This gentleman who says this about, he has several. This guy, he has several. Pay attention. Wait, this isn't uploaded yet. Now, just a moment. Here we go.
At the risk of being wrong, this was the match we had to win. For me, Spain is a showcase team. It's a team of toothpicks. And I said it on the first day. They're kids who play soccer well but don't have that street football edge. They pass well, but you could fit the whole squad and equipment manager in a 300-kilo elevator. They're small. Cucurella, if he had a fade and was Gonzalez, would just play with thinning hair and a finger. They just pass the ball like it's Civilized Kings League. The one where suddenly a card comes down from the sky and it's a penalty. And you say, why is it a penalty? Because a card fell from the sky. The classic rivalry was with England, not with Spain. With Spain, it was supposed to be the big final, which never happened. Now, I'm not afraid of Spain. I'm not afraid of Spain. Argentina is a much more competitive team than Spain. I'm not afraid of Pedro Porro or Cucurella or Cubarti or the goalkeeper. I think we have much more than they do. I do think Rodri is one of the best by far. A guy who wears his shirt tucked in, has no tattoos, no Instagram. I mean, an old school kind of guy. The rest, Fabian Ruiz is just average. Andres Suplente. Olarzabal is just a regular basket guy who scores penalties. Dani Olmo chokes and now mostly plays on the right and never asks for the ball.
You know something? There are a lot of Argentinians who tell me these fools with this really disrespectful way of speaking are the ones who hurt the country. There are a lot of Argentinians who say that. There are wonderful people who say that, and it really hurts us. But damn, really, it's not just a few of them. It's just, why is it that this kind of message, this one, is so hard to find from the other side? Why? You'll see Spaniards say all kinds of things. We've said it before, like with Chocas, right? Doing that, an idiot. But you'll see someone who says, we're going to win, well, we're going to win, or something like that, but this way. So, and look, these guys can really talk. So, elaborate way of discrediting, because they even go after your roots. I mean, they go to, no, this guy wouldn't play here in racing or whatever. No, he has no history. He doesn't exist. Enough. That's a lie. Enough. This was at the beginning. When they've seen that we've played good soccer, no, they say we play nicely, but then they go with the idea that we don't know how to compete, that we're dumb, that we don't stand up for our country, etc., etc. And if we win the final, they'll still find something to say. Like, they didn't really win, but look how they celebrated, right? And maybe because we don't celebrate like some of them do and we don't kill anyone, I don't know. We don't throw ourselves off somewhere, or I don't know. And they'll say, we don't know how to celebrate. It's just crazy, you know? You say, okay, another individual one, fine. Another individual, but at the beginning of this World Cup, I think, besides, he did this. Look, he asked some kids, where Acero, who's also been in this same building here in Dallas, asked some kids, is this the worst? Is this the worst? If the kids are already saying this, what?
Because the only forward passes, they shut them down.
So they say the best midfielders in the world. Hang in there, Macabrita.
Are they asleep on me?
They're just a bunch of cowards.
Do you want Spain? Yeah, obviously. Why? Because. Just so they can see who's better, that's all.
Who's from Spain?
Spain. What is Spain? Spain doesn't exist. They're trembling. The world trembles because of Argentina.
Does it scare Spain? No.
No, not at all, not at all. Now, if you go to France,
Argentina beat Spain by 3 or 4 goals.
Give me your hand.
Damn, it's just that.
Damn, it's just that it's really disrespectful, man. You'll give me examples of the opposite, but look, for Gonzalez, one day he slipped up and said Spain is going to destroy Argentina if we meet in the round of 32. He lost his mind, and Paco too, because now he probably regrets it, right? It doesn't matter what examples you find for me. I mean, the scale is completely unbalanced. There will always be a dumb Spaniard, right? But damn, there's just so much more on the other side, really a lot. And they're the very ones, like I said, and I'll end with this. They're the ones who say that all these people are bad for the rest of us Argentinians, while almost saying it straight to their faces. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything about the final. Today I could say, let's see if we break it. Like the other guy said, we're not going to win. So calm down. I've shared examples of things I often see, which you'll likely find on your social media timelines too. You guys, but it has me, like I said in a tweet earlier, I don't know whether to laugh or enlist in the Legion, and I only have 3 days left. Hope everything goes well for you. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, share the video. It really helps, and that's it. See you in the next one. Bye.